Hey, welcome or welcome back. It is, as always, good to see you today. It is Friday in my world, and Amberlynn uploaded a video, I believe this morning is when it was uploaded, and or earlier today. And yeah, so I don't have my green screen behind me right now. It is out of the room right now because I am going to be putting some shelves up for my comic books. So the wall behind me is a work in progress at the moment. But none of that's important right now. What is important is Amberlynn's new video, which is titled Exaggerating Food Issues, Going to a Different Program, ? And Horrible Storms. And it's going to be a vlog. The first two things I find interesting. The horrible storms. We had some pretty bad storms here a couple of weeks ago. So I'm wondering when this video was recorded, when this content actually happened. I mean, I'm behind on my own content as well, but I put dates. I'm cold. I don't know why, but I'm suddenly very cold. But let's go ahead and see what these exaggerating food issues is and if she's going to a different program. If you recall, the video that she was talking about getting the bad news about having to wait a year for weight loss surgery, she mentioned she was going to be doing something else, and we don't really know what that something else is yet. If she means to lose weight or a different weight loss program, or I don't know, but hopefully she will tell us. I can't speak today. So let's go ahead and get into it.
Hello, welcome to my new vlog. We're starting off with the saga.
Oh, we're looking at a computer screen. That's the mouse cursor and tennis. Starting off with the saga.
From my last video.
What saga from your last video?
The New Balances didn't fit, so I was searching for a pair of shoes online. Torrid.com. Of course, Torrid.com. So I found these shoes. These are the active mesh sneaker, and they are wide width, and they have my size. So I'm trying to decide if I should do...
The problem with shoes, trying to buy them online, is different brands might fit a little differently, and you might need a different size in them. So I could buy a pair of New Balance online and have it fit fine because I wear a lot of New Balance sneakers. But if Amberlynn has never worn any of this particular brand from Torrid, it may not fit right, even if it is the right, her quote, right size.
9 or 9.5. I think I'm going to go with a 9.5. I really like these, so I'm going to get these. Okay, you guys, so I just...
Nope.
Hello, so it's been some hours since we last spoke.
Oh, we're back.
I had a email from my dietitian. I don't know if you guys remember, but I said how she's going to be talking to the surgeon.
We remember.
Kind of about me as a patient. And then she was going to call me and let me know what, like, they think the next step of action should be. I don't know, I'm kind of, like, confused by it. But I actually got an email from her saying that the meeting between them was canceled because the weather here is really bad. We have tornado warnings.
This must have been at least a week and a half ago, probably then.
The wind is the worst I've ever seen, like, in my actual life. And the power keeps flickering.
You know, in her actual life, not in her figurative life.
In and out here. And I have a security camera that has, like, a community around it. And literally every, like, I would say 30 seconds, I'm getting a notification saying how a tree has fallen, people's power's out. So it's a very scary time where I live right now. It's like the whole city is falling. And
we had tornado sirens go off a couple of weeks ago here in my county where I live here in Missouri. There was some rotation up high. I think I mentioned this in a video that I may not have uploaded yet. There was some rotation spotted on radar, but it never came down to the ground.
I think it's like panning out through.
I think it's the same line of storms that she's talking about because it did move through Missouri on into Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee.
The whole state. plus the states around me. So everyone at the weight loss clinic that I go to, I think, is like being sent home because it's really scary weather right now. My hair is so frizzy. I washed it last night. This is what happens. It's so gross. Like after I brush it.
So gross.
Like I wash it, I let it dry, I put it in a bun and then brush it and it just gets so frizzy. Ugh. Right now I'm just like grateful that I have power because a lot of people are losing power and getting hurt right now and it's just very scary. So good. I think I'm actually gonna not even continue vlogging today just in case the power goes out in total. I want to keep my, because I'm filming from my phone, I want to keep my phone fully charged. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hello, it is the next day.
All right.
And I'm about to just do a little bit of light makeup. So yeah, the weather last night, I'm worried about a lot of the people, especially in my city. It was bad. Like obviously nothing bad happened to me and Feline, but a lot happened in my city. Like
Amberlynn.
Like that's nervous laughter because I was so scared last night. We actually had to bring in everything from our porch because everywhere around me, everyone's everything was just flying everywhere. It was really scary.
We had some straight winds up to like 70 miles an hour here in my area. It was well, my doormat is gone. I don't know if it blew away or somebody took it, but my doormat's missing. So,
and a lot of people got hurt and trees fell on people and cars and homes. It was very scary. Our power did flicker like a lot, but gratefully so, we didn't actually lose power. Very, very lucky in that regard because most of where I live lost power. It was just hard to fall asleep last night because all I could think about is like the people like affected stormy. Because like literally just in Oklahoma.
Yep, there's Amberlynn. She's so worried about everybody that she doesn't know that she can't sleep.
I don't know, like a week ago, my mom lost power for 3 days.
Wow.
3 days because the weather was so bad. It's just, life is scary. And it's just crazy because like,
life is scary. That is truer words have never been spoken by Amberlynn. Life is scary.
All of the little tiny problems that people are like always blowing up to like something bigger than like what it needs to be. It's just, there's such bigger issues in the world. So I started another book. I know a lot.
I'll skip any major book talk. If she just talks about it in passing, I'll leave it in, but
you don't like read and stuff, but I do want to like sprinkle reading material throughout my vlogs. I started Off the Deep End by Lucinda Berry, and so far so good. I am on page 15. I literally just started it this morning because I like woke up just a little bit ago. It's 9:36 a.m. So far I've just showered and read a little bit because it puts me in like a good little headspace, you know? So today is Saturday. So regarding my dietitian, talking to my surgeon, that's probably not going to happen until next week. So I'm not going to get any more answers or anything till then. So I will make sure to keep you guys updated. I've had a lot of people tell me that I should like see if I can get weight loss surgery with a different program because some of you are like, actually, I'm not even going to say some of you, a lot of you are in my DMs telling me that this is like the strangest thing they've ever heard because like weight loss surgery is supposed to help with binge eating. And
how does weight loss surgery help with binge eating? It's not going to keep you from having that desire to binge and eat. It just means you can't eat. You physically can't eat as much. Hold on, there's a piece of paper behind my laptop here. It just means that you can't physically eat as much. And if you do eat too much, you could hurt yourself. So, that doesn't sound right to me personally, just because the binge eating issue is a mental issue. Or, could be emotional. And weight loss surgery is not going to fix that problem.
A friend of mine, if you're watching, hi, said something that really, I was like, oh wow, that makes a lot of sense. She said, it feels like or seems like having me wait a whole year is like telling a drug addict, I want you to be a whole year sober before you go into rehab. You know, like that was a really good metaphor. And I was like,
No. No. Because the rehab isn't going to cause anything that could physically hurt them, right? Doing the drugs could kill them. That's why you put them into rehab. Amberlynn's rehab should be therapy to get over the binge eating disorder. And during that time, she can work on losing weight on her own. She's not going to die tomorrow if she eats too much food. Whereas a drug addict could if they OD. Now is Amberlynn's health and life probably in danger because of her weight? Yes. But if she eats too much food and binges after the surgery, she could hurt herself. She could make herself very sick. She could possibly rupture something from what I've read. So no, that's not a good metaphor, analogy, or whatever. No.
yeah, it kind of does feel that way. Like I don't.
The weight loss surgery is not what is not what is going to save Amberlynn's life. She keeps saying it will. It will help her have a tool to help herself. Did that make sense? It's going to be a tool to help her not eat as much food and hopefully lose weight. It's not a life-saving surgery like a open heart surgery or something. You know what I mean? It's a tool to help her help herself. That's my take on it, at least.
Binge in the definition that they say, like 3 times the amount of food you normally eat.
She is so hung up on this 3 times the amount of food. And that's not what binge eating disorder is, from everything that I've read and from what I understand. I'm not an expert, but
like I've never done that. And people are coming out of the woodwork saying like how binging is like you get so desperate you eat the condiments in your home. What? I've never done that. I only ever
because you've always had food in your house. You've always had food. Now, I've known somebody previously with binge eating disorder, and they've eaten like a whole pack of tortillas or just bread. But just because they wanted to eat something. But Amberlynn always has food in the house. Or she orders takeout because she has Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, whatever it is she uses. So she doesn't have to resort to squirting a bottle of ketchup into her face.
want to eat like junk. And that's why I feel like, I mean, this is obviously my fault as well. I just don't feel like I binge. And
you only feel like you don't binge now because it doesn't suit your narrative. It doesn't help you in any way. You can't use it as an excuse.
I'm just starting to like see it more clearly now because like I don't think I've ever wanted to look further deeper into, hey, is this binging or is this just...
You were diagnosed. Now that this is all according to Amberlynn. You were diagnosed by a binge eating or by a eating disorder recovery program psychologist with binge eating disorder based on what you told that psychologist. So, were you lying to her just to get diagnosed so you could say, look, this is why I've gained so much weight? Or are you lying about your symptoms and what you do now so you can try to get the surgery? Which is it?
A food addiction. I never wanted to take the time to do that. So it was always just so much easier. I hate how this eyebrow is darker, but it doesn't look like that in person, but on camera it does. It was just so much easier to just be like, yeah, I binge. It was like denial.
It can be both.
It's just a lot easier to say that instead of like, no, what's really going on? I was just trying to fall onto something. And by doing that, I have actively ruined my future. So I'm gonna do my.
So were you making up your symptoms that had to do with binge eating disorder, like just robotically eating, just eating to eat, and all the other things? Were you just making that shit up just so you could have binge eating disorder, so you can have an excuse?
Later after I talk to y'all. I think this is a good example that like you can't fall back on things. If you want to get help, you need to be very honest with professionals, but with yourself. Very, very honest. And I'm learning the hard way that living in delusional land and denial land gets you nowhere. And it's easy to sit there and be like, yeah, I eat a large quantity of food and I feel guilty afterwards. It sounds like binge eating, but realistically.
But you've also said that you can't stop yourself.
I eat a large quantity of food because that's how I've been since I was a child. I just eat large portions and I feel guilty afterwards because I don't like being fat. So it's like, I don't know, there's such.
So if that's all it is, if all it is that you just eat large quantities of food and you eat larger portions, then why can't you make those portions smaller and lose the weight on your own? You're not giving a good enough reason here, Amberlynn. You could, by your own words that you've just said, you're like, I just eat a lot of food. I eat big portions. Well, make those portions smaller, or eat larger quantities of healthier food, or lower calorically dense foods, so you can eat more for fewer calories and lose weight. So you could do it on your own. Maybe that's what the dietitian is trying to make a point of. Maybe the dietitian wants you to wait a year to either, one, make sure that you don't have binge eating disorder, and also during that year, you could probably lose 150 pounds if you lower the size, lower your caloric intake.
It's not black and white. There's like this fine gray area, and it frustrates me because like weight loss surgery is just like continuously and constantly on my mind because I want it so bad. And it's like, should I go to another program? Because a lot of people are telling me I should. And it's like, I really trust in, the people that I'm seeing now, but this is a very big.
So you can go to another program and tell them you don't have binge eating disorder. Or are you going to tell them, yes, I was diagnosed with it, but I don't really have it? I mean,
change in my life that I want, that I need, and it's to save my life. Right now, I stay confused. I just stay confused because
that's a given.
Misdiagnosing someone, it does happen. It's a common thing.
You were diagnosed based on the information that you gave and by your behaviors. It's not a misdiagnosis. It's you either flat out lied to your psychologist about your symptoms, so you could be diagnosed with binge eating disorder, or I don't know what else, or you actually have binge eating disorder and now you're just trying to weasel your way out of it.
That happens. Obviously, I just went through the whole lung debacle where we thought it was one thing, the doctors thought it was one.
That's something completely different.
Thing turns out it was something else, and getting misdiagnosed is very common. I had uterine cancer,
And I'm sure everyone who watches knows that. And I went to the doctor for the symptoms that I was having. I went to the ER, and I always left with the same diagnosis, a UTI. And that was something that I went through for a couple years. It was always a UTI. And that's a complete misdiagnosis because it was cancer the whole time causing those symptoms. And ever since I had a hysterectomy, I've never had a single one of those symptoms again. And it's just...
So this, you know, yes, people do get misdiagnosed, but this is Amberlynn. Having the cancer misdiagnosis is awful. Thankfully, they were able to go ahead and take out all the offending tissue, and she's okay. That is a good thing. But with the lung and the binge eating, she's playing the victim card again. Oh, woe is me, I'm always misdiagnosed. But with a mental health issue like binge eating disorder, it's based on what you tell them. So it's kind of your fault if you were misdiagnosed with binge eating disorder. I don't think she was misdiagnosed, for the record. I think she has binge eating disorder, more than likely, just based on what she said, unless she was making those symptoms up, which is apparently a possibility.
It's frustrating that being misdiagnosed is a thing and can happen, but it's also common because doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, they are not robots at all. So yeah, okay, I'm just back to rambling about weight loss surgery. Again, I swear that's not what these vlogs are going to be. I just feel like I want to express myself a little bit more. And right now I'm just like, I'm very mad at myself because I feel like I exaggerated my food issues because I was in such denial that I exaggerated my food issues when I first started seeing a psychologist because I thoroughly believed that I had binge eating. And it's like the more I actually learn about it and the more I actually learn about myself, I don't binge. I don't binge. And I know a lot of the haters are like, you're just saying that so you can get weight loss surgery. No, I'm saying that because
that's what it really feels like. It feels like you're trying to spin things to fit the narrative, whatever is good for you at that given time to help you, to benefit you.
I'm finally choosing me. I'm finally wanting to be healthier. I'm finally wanting to understand myself more and why I am the way I am. And it's like this whole time I've been so blind to that. Like even towards the end of like seeing a psychologist, like there were several times where in my head I was like, there's no way that I have binge eating. And this was before I even wanted weight loss surgery. And it's like, I'm just more aware now that I don't binge at all. I overeat a lot. Yes, I do, because I have a bigger stomach. Someone my size has a bigger stomach.
That's not true. You're bigger because, or you have a lot of adipose tissue. Just because you are overweight does not mean you have a larger stomach. That is absolutely not true. I'll put some info up on the screen here.
So I overeat and I obviously feel guilty about it. Like anyone who overeats who is at a higher weight is going to feel guilty about it. That's point blank.
All right. Well, that was a very frustrating video to watch. She's so frustrating. So frustrating. It's like, so you made up symptoms to fit binge eating disorder because you wanted to have an excuse for why you were overweight so that it wouldn't actually be your fault. Oh, I just overeat. That's your fault. But having a disorder is something that you can't control and it's out of your hands because Amberlynn, as I always say, can't hold herself accountable. Nothing is ever her fault. Which is also a symptom of being a narcissist, even though she says that she was told she wasn't. I have my doubts. But it's all very frustrating. Do you all think she will go see a different program to see if they will approve her? Or is she going to stick with this one and give it a year? Because it's going to be very confusing for the people at this program to be like, well, you were diagnosed with binge eating disorder, but now you're saying you don't have it. So does that mean that you weren't honest with the people at that recovery program? So are you being honest with us now or not? Are you telling us just what we want to hear or not? So it doesn't look good for Amber either way. But all that being said, I hope you've had a lovely day. I hope you have an amazing weekend. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazzy jazz. I would love to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year. We're in March. We have a good ways to go, so I'm hoping we can do it. But, all that being said, I will see you later. And until next time, be safe and take care.